Okay, so today we're going to do a super fun activity where we make vanilla ice cream in Ziploc bags. It's the perfect activity to do with all age groups. Actually, you just modify the scientific discussions you have based on the grade level. So if you're working with younger kids, you can use this activity to teach them about measuring and how to use measuring cups and measuring spoons. If you're working with older kids, so maybe 4th grade through middle school, you could actually introduce a scientific method to them and discuss variables and changing variables and retesting. So in this activity, you could have different groups use different amounts of rock salt and compare the results. You could have the ingredients as the variables, so you could have everyone make the main recipe, but then retest and have different groups use different types of milk, for instance. So what would be the change in the final product if you use whole milk versus low-fat milk versus whipping cream? So again, you can vary it depending on your group of students. If you're working with high school students and they're taking chemistry class, that's when you can actually talk about exothermic reactions and how the rock salt is actually lowering the freezing level of ice. But only if you have older kids. The younger kids are not going to get that. So let's go into the actual making of the ice cream. We troubleshooted this in our office a little bit, so we're going to change the recipe from the lesson plan that we sent you, and we want to make sure you see it done this way. So the first thing we're going to do is actually double the ingredients. And the reason why is otherwise you're going to have to use a whole lot of ice if there's only one student making their batch in one bag. So pair the students up, and 2 students will make both sets of ice cream in the same bag. So again, we're just going to double the ingredients. We're going to put in 1 cup of whole milk. And the students will be working in pairs at this point, so one student can hold up the bag while the other student measures and pours. And then we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And this is pure vanilla extract. And again, so we're doubling the recipe that we gave you, just so you can save on the amount of ice and baggies you have to buy. And then 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is just regular granulated white sugar. You probably should have the sugar poured out in a bowl, so it's easier for the students to scoop up. And that's 2 tablespoons. And then this is a really important step. You want to make sure that the students get as much air out of this bag as possible before they zip it up. Okay, and this is a freezer style bag, so it's a little bit thicker, so there's less chance of puncturing and spilling. And also, if you can get the kind with the slide top, so that the students can see that they're zipping it closed. And again, there's less chance this way of the students accidentally not closing it tightly enough and then having spillage. So if you can, get these slide tops. So the second change we're going to make is only using 1 inner bag. So in the lesson plan we sent you, it said to double up the inner bags, and we found that the ice cream wasn't freezing as well when we did this, so we're just going to use 1 bag. And we think as long as you get a freezer bag and as long as it has that zipper top at the top, you should be okay. And none of the bags opened up or spilled during our trial. So again, we're doubling up the recipe, and then we're only using 1 quart bag. Okay. And the third change, lots of changes, but it will result in better ice cream. So we have the gallon bag, the bigger bag. We found that when we only used 4 cups of ice, the mixture didn't freeze as well, so we're going to up it to 6 cups of ice. So go ahead and have the students put their ice cream mixture in there. There's only 4 cups here, so we're going to put in 2 more. So here's 5 cups. And here's 6 cups. And the last change we're going to make is upping the amount of rock salt that we use. So in the lesson plan, it says to use 4 tablespoons. Now we're going to use 6. And again, we found that in our trials, 6 worked better than 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Crushed ice does work best, so if you can get crushed ice rather than the cubes, do get that. It's just easier for the crushed ice to get around the package. Okay, so then the students are going to want to get the air out of this bag as well, as much as they can. Seal that up tightly. And this is also a thicker freezer bag. And at this point, they're going to agitate or shake up that bag for 7 to 8 minutes. But they could keep on checking. We found that in some of the trials, it froze solid, the ice cream mixture, after only 5 minutes. If you have, it's going to go like this. Shake it around to make sure the ice is surrounding the inside mixture. It's going to get really cold really quickly, so it's actually great that they're working in pairs at this point, because then they can switch off once their hands get too cold. And again, I'm going to keep on doing this continually for 5 minutes. I'm going to check it and then continue a few more minutes if I have to. Alrighty, so I have been mixing and shaking up this bag for 7 minutes now. Here's the moment of truth. And if you haven't noticed, this is kind of a messy activity. So you definitely want to cover up the tables if you can, if you're working indoors. It's also a great activity to do outside. So again, this batch is for 2 students. And we were mixing it for 7 minutes. And it does feel really solid. And here we go. Since they are splitting in between the pair, you can have one bowl. The other kid could just eat it straight out of the bag. Oh, but you can see it's solid ice cream. And the spoon will stand straight up. So again, it's pretty cool that the students can watch it solidify and turn into ice cream right before their very eyes, just with plastic bags. No fancy ice cream maker necessary. I'll give it a taste to see if it tastes good. Yep, it tastes like vanilla ice cream. So again, you can just have the other student eat straight out of the bag. One student can get the bowl. If you want to bring in toppings for the kids, it's always fun. You can have some toppings and let the students have another go at it, where they actually put the ingredients inside the ice cream mixture, so they can try to make strawberry ice cream or chocolate chip ice cream and see if it works. But again, have fun with it and then enjoy the product of your labor.